Hello everyone, my name is Havian and today I'll be talking to you about Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet. This is going to be another video that is based on a frequently asked question I get, and the confusion I see about Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet based on the fact that it has online in the title. I felt like this was something that was popping up so much that I needed to make a video dedicated to the fact that Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet is not an MMO. If you are someone that asked if Fatal Bullet is an MMO, then good, you're asking the right questions, you're doing your research before the game comes out. The confusion is understandable since there are many people that are just finding out that Sword Art Online actually has games, and the term online in the video game's title is usually used for games that are actually online. But in this case, that term is used because the name of the franchise and the series as a whole is called Sword Art Online. I just wanted to make a few things clear because the last thing I'd want is for people to go into this game expecting it to be something that it's not, only to be left feeling disappointed and misled. Fatal Bullet does have multiplayer, but it's not an MMO like Phantasy Star Online, it's not really a shared world shooter like Destiny or The Division, and this isn't really an MMO, but despite how the game looks and who it's been developed by, for those of you that were wondering, it's not really that comparable to Freedom Wars either. But that's not to say that the game doesn't share similarities to those games, or that it doesn't take influence from them. You can see parts of the games I mentioned before inside of Fatal Bullet, but Fatal Bullet has a heavier emphasis on the single player experience rather than the multiplayer. The game will receive updates over time and the multiplayer side might get bigger, but everything in this video is based on the release version of the game. Another thing I wanted to make clear is the story is strictly single player. You can't roam the world with another person or drop into a friend's game to do co-op. The multiplayer modes are separate, but the rewards from those modes can be carried over into the single player game. I'll be going over the multiplayer modes in a dedicated video, but just know that currently, single player is the main focus of this game. For the people that prefer to play games solo and just like to play multiplayer every now and then this game may be for you since the single player experience is actually pretty fun if you're into loot based games. Maybe even more so than the games that I mentioned previously, but it definitely does lack on the multiplayer side in comparison. I've seen a lot of people saying that this game will replace Destiny or replace The Division, it's going to be the new Phantasy Star, and even though it does feel like those games at times, it's not a game that can replace any of those because it's different. But it might end up being your own personal replacement for those games or a nice time sink until the next loot-based game comes along, but in general it's not really going to be much of a replacement for those games. During my live streams, I'm often asked how much of a Sword Art Online fan I am, and honestly, I'm a bit of a casual fan of the series. I mean, I watched this show and I found it entertaining, and when new seasons or movies get released, I watch them when I've had the time, but I'm far from a die-hard Sword Art Online fan. The main reason I play the games is because they are grindy, loot-based JRPGs with fun multiplayer. Kinda similar to the way the old Phantasy Star games were. And this may come as a surprise to some of you, but I used to play Phantasy Star games a lot, and this channel actually started off as a Phantasy Star Online 2 channel. Don't bother trying to look for those videos though, you won't find them. But I guess that's why the Sword Art Online games have my attention at the moment. Fatal Bullet does feel like it's the closest it's been to the Phantasy Star games, and it does feel like as the game continues to update, it could be really great, but it definitely needs more multiplayer based content before it reaches that point. But yeah, got a little bit sidetracked, but Fatal Bullet isn't an MMO. It's not an MMO, not even close. And yes, it would be cool if Sword Art Online actually did have a real MMO, but every Sword Art Online game that gets released doesn't have to be an MMO. I mean, they're pretty expensive to make, and I'm pretty sure they take a very long time to develop. So for all we know, one could be in development, we just have to wait and see. It's a slightly shorter video today, but I just wanted to make that MMO thing clear. I expect a multiplayer video soon, and as always, if you enjoyed this video, leave it a like. If you want to see more videos, then be sure to subscribe. And if you know anyone that thinks this game is an MMO, send this video over to them. And I haven't mentioned it in the whole video, but if you're wondering what an MMO even is, it's a massively multiplayer online game, which this isn't. And I've been saying this for a week now, but I'll be back to stream soon. Between making videos and making sure my saved streams follow the new Twitch rules, streams have taken a bit of a backseat. It's actually kind of hard trying to find a balance between making videos and streaming regularly. Like, I'm still trying to get that ironed out, but I'll be back on top of it soon. But if you want to know when I am live, then drop me a follow over on Twitch or follow me on Twitter. Links to all of those are in the description. I'll be making some new videos very soon, but until I make those videos, I'll see you all later.